Robert Henderson Jr. Show, featuring Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner and president of the Henderson Financial Group. Understanding money. It's all about the money.
Yes, it's all about the money. Whether we're talking about education or if we're talking about love, relationships, if we're talking about going to heaven, the church, religion, we're talking about employment, we're talking about politics, whatever.
Or keeping your property values up, like Miss Joanne saying, it affects her money.
It does.
You paint your house a lemon lime and Barney purple and all those colors, it affects your value. It affects thus your money.
But
Miss Joanne says she tired of that.
Yeah, but see, like Miss Joanne, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
But see, Miss Joanne, see how you said that's ugly colors. Now that's your perception of what's ugly. Now see, you can't tell nobody what's ugly and what's not ugly. But I understand what you're saying. You're saying that it's going to be detrimental to the property value, and you're 100% right. But most people, they're not thinking economically. They're thinking they like that lemon lime.
Well, that's how
color.
it is in the islands.
Telling me, boy.
That's how their colors are in the islands. Like you said, Miss Joanne, it's international.
But it
over
ain't
there.
it ain't just in the island. You can't blame that just on the island people. Leroy or Bobo, he want to get him a purple or pink purple house or whatever. He want to make it 8-ball.
I got Leroy and Bobo up here.
But let me tell you something, Miss Joanne. The real deal is, see, there's pros and cons. That's why a lot of people go into a community where there's a homeowners association. So that's the good part, that they'll tell you what colors you can paint and what colors you can't paint. And they'll try to police, so everybody property value can maintain and go up. Now, a lot of people don't like that. Some people say, listen,
I love it.
Some people say, I do not want a homeowner association. I don't want the people going up and telling me what I can't do. Then when you don't want that, that's the price you pay. You have Bobo and Lee and Alvarez and Gomez and them putting all them funny, silly colors on their house. Now, you can't say it's ugly because that's your perception. Remember, today's word is perception. But what you're doing is you're tying that into economics. Yes, it does make the house go down.
Absolutely.
I remember a friend of mine, every time he used to buy these fancy cars, he would leave it just like it was. He would go and buy him a Mercedes-Benz. He didn't even tint the window. He didn't change the rim. And he was a hustler, street hustler. Matter of fact, he's doing 2 life sentences plus 60 in jail. But one thing about him, he's a street hustler. Every time he would buy a car, he wouldn't do. Matter of fact, he would any other street hustler that would buy cars and put all them funny rims and all that fur in it and put all kind of change the stereo system and put all that stuff in it, he would degrade them. And I would say, why? I mean, y'all, your colleagues, y'all on the street, y'all street hustlers. He said because economically, when he got ready to train his car in, them white folks gonna look at that car and say that's a brother who had that car, and the value gonna go down. They say as soon as you start, especially them cars that cost a lot of money, as soon as you start putting them 8-ball colors on it and putting the drop top diamond in the back, making it all that, the value go down. The blue book go down.
And you know what else?
One more question I know someone else wants to call, but one more question I have to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
I myself and others, we're saying when we get ready to practice and temporarily sell our property, the first thing we want to try out first, putting it on the internet and put it international for sale first, because they got the money.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying you agree with that or you disagree with that?
I agree with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you always try to do
100%.
100%. We'll agree with you too. That's good, and that's good advice.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling. It's Miss Joanne. Miss Joanne. We love you, Miss Joanne.
Miss Joanne need to stay tuned. We still having Mr. Pitts call in.
She gonna stay tuned. I know she gonna keep it glued, Miss Joanne. She's a community activist.
Yeah.
She ain't going nowhere now. She ain't getting ready to watch no TV or no cartoons now. She gonna tell everybody she can.
Her
even
week hasn't ended.
No.
There's no weekend.
Ain't no weekend. The weekend, baby, to go ahead and take it easy. If you broke, busted, and disgusted, ain't no weekend for you. How you gonna be behind and say you getting ready to go and take it easy and barbecue and have a drink and party? You ain't got no time to party.
No.
You got the time. The weekend is catch up where everybody else, while the rich folks are sleeping, while the rich folks are taking time off. You got to be doing double time. That's what you got to do. And we have got to understand that economically. Now, we got Mr. Pitts on the line. Okay? And before we go to Mr. Pitts, I want to say exactly what our goal is and what we're trying to accomplish with Mr. Pitts, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Pitts, we're not talking to him textbook. He's a real brother. We're going to talk to him like we're 6-year-olds so we can get some understanding. Because in all you're getting, you got to get some understanding. Now, we ain't talking to somebody, like I said, who don't know and what they think. We're going to the horse's mouth. And I'm going to ask him a whole lot of things. And I'm hoping that I want you all to get your pencil, get your pads, wake up your husband. It's 8 o'clock now. It ain't 7 a.m. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock, 8:09. No time to sleep. The early bird gets the worm. Learn something. Change your perception, because for the most part, most folks' perception is all wrong. Your perception is all wrong. If half the country perception wasn't all wrong, Bush couldn't have got back in the office.
And if you still
again.
live in the same way your grandmama was and your mama, and you just can't see why you so far behind, maybe you should change your perception.
Your whole ideologies, your whole understanding.
Stop going by what they say. Learn something new. Don't be afraid. Jump out there. Ask that question.
All right, before we go to Mr. Pitts, let's go ahead and get Ed. After Ed, we're going to hold your calls until, because I got to really get down with Mr. Pitts. So we're going to take Ed online, too. And everybody else, hold your calls until I open it up again, okay? Ed, are you there? Question or comment about the show?
Good morning, Mr. Henderson. How you doing?
Good.
Well, I just wanted to call and commend you and your co-host there and how important it is to share information like you're doing, my brother, and just let you know, man, that you have not only reached people here but across this country that I have personally been motivated enough to turn you on to. So I just want the listening community to know how valuable you are and how blessed we are to have you in our community.
Hey, so Ed, you got our back?
Oh, you know that.
You got our back.
You know that.
So when they start trying to come for us, you're going to be right out there with us.
They won't get to you. They got to come across me to get to you.
All right. I like that. I like that, Ed.
All right, bro.
Hey, bro, I love you, man.
You too, man. Keep up the good work, and God bless you. Say hi to the family.
You got it. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right.
Very encouraging words.
Very encouraging. That's from a black man to another black man.
Okay.
Some of my white folks friends call me. Call us. Some of our Cuban friends, Spanish friends, call us Latino. Don't just be sitting and listening. Don't do that.
It's all about the money. It's green.
And, they call our office on Monday, though,
Yeah.
And they said they just didn't want to call.
Right.
Come on, we can't hurt you. It's all from the same. We need each other. We really do. We really need it. Every time I buy them stocks on Wall Street, it's some white folks I'm talking to. Matter of fact, it's white folks, and I call San Francisco, it's Asian people. I need everybody. Everybody. It takes a village and not just no one color.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't make myself. All right, let's go to Mr. Otis Pitts. Mr. Otis Pitts, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Good. How's life treating you?
Well, just another day to run, as they say. But, I'm not going to complain.
Hey, I know you going to be in the office today. I know ain't no weekend for you. It's Friday. I know that. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Mr. Pitts, I told the listening audience, I don't know if you was listening earlier, I told them, I said that I talked to you yesterday, and as we had our conversation, you promised to keep it real and talk the way you and I normally talk. I mean, not 100%. We ain't gonna cuss nobody out on the air. we ain't gonna say some of the things, but we gonna keep it real so the people will know exactly what's going on, because you, like you are really trying to make, as a matter of fact, you are making an impact, and you really trying to help somebody. So I really, really want you to keep it real, and let's get some straightening. Let's get some understanding, because a lot of people don't know. And before they had us on this station, before we was able to have a talk show and speak freely, most people perception have just been all off. They just didn't know. A lot of people don't know. A lot of our people just don't know. It hadn't been that long. I mean, 50 years ago, what my office is and the things that we doing, we wouldn't be able to do it. They were lynchers and hangers. But now we have opportunity. This truly, we have opportunity out there. And a lot of people still don't understand it. They don't get the big picture. And when it comes to real estate and housing and development, I want you to shed some light on what is the problem, what's the pros and the cons, so people can start looking at this thing and get a better, true perception on what is going on, how we can change it, what we got to do. See, on this show, I don't like that blame game. I don't like that blame. Blame can't get you nowhere. You can't go through Winn-Dixie or Publix or Sedano's and pay for no milk and cookies or bread by blaming somebody, telling somebody you ain't got the money because somebody did it, somebody do you wrong. If you got the money or you don't. So we ain't going to deal with no blame. We going to deal with the facts and reality and deal with and just shake things up, okay? You with me?
Yes, sir. I'm with you 100%.
Okay. Now, how long? I'm going to ask you questions like a 6-year-old. Now, y'all want you to say, Robert, why you asking? I may ask you. Well, I ain't going to ask you that, but I'm going to ask a question similar to why the sky is blue, okay? But not that. But how long have you been in the development business? First of all, I want people to at least get your credentials, people who've never heard of you, don't know anything about you. I want you to give us a little brief background.
Well, really since we'll just say about 1982. So been quite a few years now. I would say, 25 years.
25 years?
Yeah.
You grew up when you was 12, 13 years old, want to build something? How did that come about? What changed your perception about building something and getting involved in this whole building thing?
Well, it really began, as I listened to you as well. You were out there looking at your situation personally, but also looking at the community. And you wonder why other people have things that you don't have, or why your community looks a certain way.
Yeah. Not to cut you off, but boy, times now get flies around here. Every time you turn around, we got a commercial. Boy, every time, hey, Mr. Pitts.
It was good you got commercials now.
Yeah, no, that is good. Keep it coming. Yeah, they pay for the lights. Keep us on the air. But it's 8:15. Ladies and gentlemen, we getting ready to start. We getting ready to get down. Don't change your dial. We'll be right back after we take this station break. We're going to pick up where we left off of Mr. Otis Pitts. We'll be right back.
Your voice, your opinion, your station. News Talk 1080 AM WTPS, the People Station.
It's the old school hometown show with the original James Brown Tribute Band performing at the Caleb Center Saturday, June 23rd at 6 p.m. The original James Brown Tribute Band will tear the house down, South Florida, with hits like The Goodfoot and Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. And other famous hits that will have you out of your seats dancing yourself in a cold sweat. Please, please, please come out to the old school hometown show and support the original James Brown Tribute Band at the Caleb Center Saturday, June 23rd at 6 p.m. Let this be a big payback and make it funky for the original James Brown Tribute Band. For ticket information, call Ticketmaster at 305-358-5885. That's 305-358-5885. Or go to Ticketmaster.com.
Inspired living, inspired financing. Call now before the money runs out. Club Carib Condominiums gives you the opportunity to live, work, and play in luxurious Coconut Creek, the butterfly capital of the world. At Club Carib, you will enjoy a resort-style pool and spa with waterfall, state-of-the-art fitness center, and a majestic clubhouse. Centrally located just minutes from shopping, major attractions, and expressways. Own your piece of heaven on earth. With condos starting at $159.9, Club Carib offers down payment assistance, grants, deferred, or forgiven second mortgages. 100% financing, seller contributions, less than perfect credit accepted, lowest homeowners association fee in the area, and attractively priced to fit your budget. Call now to reserve your money and get inspired. 1-800-200-9835. That's 1-800-200-9835. Club Carib is located at 5500 Northwest 61st Street in Coconut Creek, Florida, or visit us on the web, www.clubcaribcondos.com. Club Carib Condominiums, inspired living, inspired financing, financing? Call now before the money runs
Like
out.
what you're hearing on your station?
Joey and Andre, man, you all always have a thought-provoking show.
Express yourself. Call our comment line, 305-642-5445. Good comments or bad.
I'm really enjoying the conversation between you and Andre and all the listeners.
We're going to listen to you, South Florida.
But anyway, thanks for listening.
Got a show idea you want to talk about? Express yourself. 305-642-5445. You're speaking, and we're listening. That's why we're the People Station. News Talk 1080 WTPS. News Talk 1080 AM WTPS. The People Station. The place where you are heard.
It's the Robert Henderson Jr. Show, featuring Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner and president of the Henderson Financial Group. Understanding money. It's all about the money.
We're back. Understanding money. It's all about the money. Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner. My business partner, sister-in-law, colleague, Linda Harris, in the studio live.
Good morning.
WTPS, the People Station, where information is power. But information is not power if you don't take the information and do something with it. Joining me live on the phone is Mr. Otis Pitts, someone who ain't just talking the talk but walking the walk, someone who has actually demonstrated. You can actually get a visual. You can actually see his work around town, what he's actually done. I didn't want to get some professor or some textbook person who hadn't done nothing, just talking but haven't delivered. I want to talk to someone who I personally know don't just talk that talk but walk that walk. Somebody who's been in the trenches, somebody who's been in the fields, and that's Otis Pitts. Now, Mr. Pitts, before we had that station break, I asked you, did you always grow up wanting to be into the real estate development game, and you started to tell the audience and us how you got involved in it. Can you go ahead and finish that, please?
Yes. Well, there were people, fortunately, we've had a lot of leaders that sort of did what I now see you doing, and it's important, and that is raising our consciousness and getting us to really take a look around at ourselves individually, but also our communities. So we have people like, fortunately, Dr. King and Malcolm X and others who start, raising our consciousness. Even Bobby Kennedy, who said, ask not, about how things are, if you will. I'm paraphrasing, but what you can do about them, really, his brother, but also, to see things that never were and ask why not. And so in this community, I grew up in Liberty City. In the 80s, we'd had a riot in the community and the like, and I was working in the community running the Belafonte de Cosi Center. And I recognized we didn't have any economic development. It was a major reason why the community was so depressed. We weren't involved in our own, providing food for ourselves, a shelter for ourselves. We were just on the receiving end. And so there was a grocery store, several of them, that got burned down in the riots in 1980. And the people were complaining about not having any food or any place to shop. And I said, well, let's see what we can do about it. And so we went out there and took an old shopping center that had been demolished, if you will, during the riots, and we rehabbed it. We found money, we rebuilt the center, created goods and services for the community, but also employment for the community, and gave the community a chance to see what it could do for itself by spending its money in its own neighborhood with businesses that at least it controlled and from which it was getting some money. So it ended up being a situation where we had a way to help ourselves because we spend $800, I'm told, plus $1 billion a year, and all of it escapes our community and goes into other communities and enrich a lot of other people, but we don't end up getting enriched by it. In fact, you would think that we made no money at all if you looked at our communities because we're not trapping into that money, if you will, in our communities to our own benefit.
You're 100% right. I was talking with a guy who came from the Middle East section, and the guy said in their country, when they're making their way to the great U.S. of A., they are told, if they want to be prosperous, if they want to come up, so to speak, if they want to make a lot of money, go and set up shop in the black communities throughout the nation. He said that they are told that. Learn, get an education, but go and set up business. Whatever business you can, a shop in the hood if you want to get rich and make some money. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing, and apparently it's true, because we watch every new immigrant group that come in, and we know all the ethnicities of those groups. They come here because why? Our community is so underserved. You know, we're not setting up our stores. We never own our stores. We never spend, money in our communities to the extent that that in places where we own or support institutions, that we own. In fact, we don't even have anything often, And so part of what I saw was a need was to say, well, at least if we're going to spend our money, it's fine that we're going to go on some things we can't buy in our community, because you're not going to find Bloomingdale's necessarily in the hood. But there are things which we spend our money on every day. So let's capture the money in our community so at least we create some goods and services that we can partake of, that we can get some jobs out of, and we're creating some wealth in our community. But let's do it with people, who at least where we have a stake. Don't just go out there and spend our money somewhere else and where we have no participation at all in our community. So we're enriching those communities. So part of that motivation was the movement, quote unquote, of the 60s, where we were having our consciousness raised. Right. And that's what you're doing with your show. And I think it's wonderful to be talking to us about financial planning, because you're making people aware that you have the resource. Just your talk about how you change your job, simply by just changing your mind.
Absolutely.
By how you think about how you utilize your time and your efforts, you can enrich yourself. Now, had you stayed on your job, quote unquote, because I faced a similar situation. I was a police officer. Everybody's saying, well, why don't you stay on the job and whatever else? But no, I said, I want to do something in my community, but also something for myself.
Right. They told you to stay on the job. Like my mom said, boy, you going to get rid of them benefits?
Yes.
They didn't put the benefit thing on you?
And I had added pressure because my father was a retired policeman.
Oh, man.
You was with the city.
So, I was supposed to follow in that tradition.
Yeah, so you like a rebel. You like a runaway slave. You just got off the path.
Yeah, they thought I was absolutely out of my mind.
And my mom thought I was on some drugs. She said, Junior, how in the world you going to leave a good job?
Yes.
And really, you can't even define where you were going and what job. Like, when Robert used to tell us what he doing, we always like, yeah, he unemployed. He ain't got no job. I'm an entrepreneur. What is that? You're not working.
They used to tell me that, too.
So
they
it's hard
say,
to describe, what you really do. You, Mr. Pitts, are considered a developer. I hear a lot of people saying, I'm a developer. A developer is when you actually have the credentials behind you. What makes a developer? You draw.
Define a developer, because everybody want to
build like the hole.
Just like in the music business, everybody got a record label. Not a buzzword. I'm a developer. You got little Junior, Bobo, and Woo Woo. All of them talking about a developer. What is a developer?
Well, a developer is someone, who on the real estate side, who looks at the potential, as you understand from your real estate experience, of a piece of property and deciding its highest and best use, and then gathering the resources.
So going to get the money.
Yes,
okay.
to develop it to that potential, and convincing others that is its highest and best use, and getting them either to invest some money in it or agreeing to locate in the property. If it's an apartment building, you go out and convince people that there's some demand for those apartments, and we know in our community there's always some demand, and convincing them at the price point that you're setting for that apartment, if it's $200 or whatever it is,
right,
that's a reasonable and fair price for them to pay, and then convincing lenders to put money in it, because the development business is the use really of other people's money.
So in other words, when you just a developer is like similar to, I'm a visual thinker and I need the visual. So basically, a developer is like just being like a visionary, someone who got a dream.
And selling that dream.
And selling that dream.
Yeah.
But all of us could be developers. All of us.
If you got the money,
but it can't come to fruition if you can't put the finance together.
That's right. You got to go out there and convince somebody that your dream is viable. And you, in the case of doing a commercial property, we know this community is grossly underserved. We're always out there spending. And people who, when they ask you for your zip code and ask you for information, they know which neighborhood you are coming from. We are sourcing so many places. People are surprised at the things that we spend and buy.
So therefore, that's why when you go to the department store or you go somewhere and you checking out, you at the checkout counter, even when you in the grocery store, they ask you what's your zip code, right?
Yeah, they know what it's, but they are absolutely surprised that our communities are so understored. Because of the amount of money we spend, we support so many industries, even from things we don't think we support. We buy an enormous amount of books. All right? We buy everything from you name it. We are per capita, and in terms of our income, we spend almost all our money.
Yeah, we don't say nothing.
Hold on. Let's back that up. Hold on. So you're trying to say, regardless, are you trying to say the when you say we spend almost all our money, I mean, does that go for the person that got the bachelor's degree and the master's degree, also the professional, and also Bobo who never finished school? All us?
Look, our savings rate, we think America's saving rate is low generally. Our saving rate is negative something when you really look at it. In terms of what we spend and how we subsidize ourselves going forward.
Now that's bad.
And you know, it's not, and so since we know we're going to be spending in the community, at least we should be trying to get some value from it. I felt that since people know, for an example, take the shopping center we've just opened.
Where is it located?
It's located at Northwest 62nd Street off of 6th Avenue, just off 95 as you come into.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, too.
Yeah, But
hold on, no, before you ask him a question, I got to ask this question.
Okay.
Mr. Pitts, when you say we spend so much money.
You heard what the gentleman said.
I'm
we are negative none when it comes to savings.
Okay. But Mr. Pitts, who know that? Does anybody know that? Oh, right now, because I remember I had one listener say that I was negative when I said stuff like that because she didn't want the white people that was listening to the radio show to know that. She said that, some things we shouldn't put out loud because white people going to know.
Look, let me tell you.
Do they know this
No
already?
one knows it better than them.
Say it again.
All right?
Say it again.
We don't know it. They know it.
Hold on, because I didn't know what you just, a lot of people know. How they know? Now, how do they know us better than we know ourselves? That's
because the one thing this guy is good at is gathering data, all right, and doing what they call interpolations and extrapolations. He's taking that information and looking at it and processing it and making determinations because those things are driving where he locates his store, where he makes his investment. To whom he targets his advertising, he knows more about the African American community than he knows about itself.
Right.
When you say he, you talking about people who don't look like us?
Yeah, people don't look like us, and the entrepreneurs and the capitalists who are always trying to target their investments and also target their markets, their consumers of their products, because those things drive location decisions. When you see a store locating somewhere, they're not locating there because they just got up in the morning and say, I think I'll put a store on 62nd Street and whatever else. They're putting a store there because they have some sense, and usually documented sense. And there's nobody better at determining what a community does than people who cite retail. They know where the money is coming from.
And they're not in this business to lose money.
No, they're not putting a store because they love you.
Right.
They're putting a store because they believe they can move the product. All right? And that's not a negative for you.
Right.
Because it's better if you go and spend your money in your community than to go all the way over to Hallover somewhere where, first of all, you're getting no return on your money. First of all, you got to spend all your gas going there.
Right.
All right? And when you get there, you're not going to be employed in the places.
Right.
All right? So you're not getting any benefit from your money. You're creating wealth somewhere else, which is called in the business of community development expenditure leakage. All your money going out to the community, and you ain't getting nothing for it.
Wow.
And then drove 100 miles to go get it. All right.
So you saying
You just
that
messed me up with
hold
that
on.
expenditure leakage.
Leakage.
Yeah.
That means something leaking out.
They may not even speak
Your
your
money is
language.
you're not creating any wealth, any convenience. All right, in your community, you're creating it somewhere else.
Oh, so that's why people that don't look like us, that's why they ain't sweating about letting us into college. That's why they not really.
Because you're going to bring the money home as they see. All right? You're going to continue in your patterns because you want to brag about being able to go somewhere else and spend your money. Right. And nobody that looks like you, all right, they ain't even thinking about employing you.
Don't even speak your language sometimes.
Don't even speak your language.
Right.
Hold on, you're blowing me away. Hold on, let's stop
Okay.
right. Hold on. I can't take no more. I got to swallow. Hold on. So you trying to tell me, because most law-abiding, church-going, good citizens, what you saying, most people just don't want to believe. Make the stomach hurt. You trying to tell me, because all of us supposed to get along and be happy. You trying to tell me that there are people that know our every move, our spending habits, and study us.
Your every move, you are spending your money to depress the economy and the real estate in your own community. This guy's locating a store somewhere, and you know this from your real estate experience. If he locates a store in a certain neighborhood, that whole neighborhood's real estate appreciates, all right? And
Absolutely.
that area is strengthened by your money,
Right.
creating that facility somewhere else. You're not even spending the money where it will come back and create some stores in your community that create some viability, that improves the tax base, all right, that make your area more prosperous. So your money is not creating a job for you, not creating any convenience for you. Your neighbor, your real estate remains depressed, and you are appreciating his real estate in another community. So we have to learn how to spend and trap that community and not have what we end up with. Unfortunately, you talked about everybody coming to our community, but when they come to our community, most of those persons from those other places, those entrepreneurs, look at the stores they have you shopping in. All right? Look what they're offering you in the way of goods and services in your community. They don't even appreciate you in your own community. They won't even fix their stores up when they come there.
They sure don't, because a lot of people, especially a lot of people come from the East, and a lot of people come, and even the Asian people, a lot of them come. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just saying what it is.
Yeah.
You're right. They don't even fix their stores up. They come there and just overcharge you.
Leaking and
overcharge you.
floors undone.
Yes.
So let me, you're making me think for a second. So if you saying that these people have done studies, they know exactly, that reminds me of slavery. How they say the making of a slave. How you keep them dumb and they can predict what he gonna do and all that kind of. So you made me think about South Beach for a second. Now I'm not trying to knock South Beach. I'm saying, but you made me think about every holiday, Memorial, Labor Day, when you got black folks come all around the nation and they go over there in them hotels and then they get the police out there and arrest 1,000 or 2,000 of them. So what you saying
is we're going backwards. When I grew up in so-called segregation, we had black hotels. We had the Mary Elizabeth, all right? We had Carver Hotel. We had the Booker Terrace. All right. We had businesses. You could shop in your own community and get anything you wanted in your own community. Now, the Anglo and the larger community now has that, and you got to go there. All right. You don't have the goods and services in your community because you prefer to go somewhere else and spend your money. All right. But we had all these conveniences. We had, the blacks who owned these hotels, like the Mary Elizabeth. All right. We had Clyde Killings and we had business owners. My father had a dry cleaners and a fish market. All right. We had numerous entrepreneurs in our community because we, unfortunately, were being forced to do it then. But we should be investing in our communities now.
But let me ask you a question. If you saying that the black community throughout the nation's got a lot of money, but what happens is the other people they don't build those kind of developments in our community. They build it in their community, and we come over there and bring them our money. So are you saying to me that if we did build some of those structures, hotels, and those structures and shopping centers and grocery stores in the black community, do you think that black people will come and support them?
Well, I absolutely believe that if you have something of similar quality, and just say, for example, take a store, take the shopping center I was talking to you about. We have a Foot Locker there. All right? There's a Subway going in. Mm-hmm. There's a GameStop coming. These are things we all in Aventura spending money on.
Yes.
There's a Wingstop going. I mean, you got Rainbow Fashions, a bunch of other places that are coming into the area, on and on and on. Why would you go and ride to Aventura, all right, if the same goods and services can be made available to you in your own community? And not only that, when you walk in there, you see people who look like you in the place that you're creating some opportunities for, because all of us as youngsters, I had me a little job and I was working. You know, here's a chance for me to get me a little job, maybe working, and for adults too. So now you have creating a cycle where your money is not, again, talking about the expenditure leakage, your money is now being captured in your community, because that's what's happening on their side, that gets reinvested on the other side. But when you don't spend money in your own community, where you live, to make convenience for you, you end up, as you get affluent, a little more money in your pocket, you have to move out of there because there are things that you want that you're not going to be inconvenienced about. So you're going to end up moving near those things when you get affluent, and then you get an out-migration from your community of all the upwardly mobile people in the community, because they got no reason to stay. You know, why should I be staying here? Here you now have worked hard, Mr. Henderson, to get to a level of affluence where you should be enjoying some of the better things, but none of those things are in or near you. If you're in the hood, that's going to cause you to leave. And as you leave, first of all, you take away your personal example for other youngsters to emulate. People need to see you. But you can't expect it to hold you down from giving your family a quality of life, you know, that you can now afford them and you worked for. So you've got to be doing things in these communities that cause you to say, well, I ain't going nowhere. I'm comfortable here. I can get the things I need here. And it also goes to that community being a safe place to live.
Yeah, because as I'm listening to you, my first mind and thought going to crime, safety. Yes. Now, so let me ask you something. Do you think that, because I know, and you was a police officer.
Yes.
Do you think that developing in the black community around the nation and not developing in the black community around the nation, do you think the level of crime, do you think that go hand in hand with
Yes, it does, because I'm going to say this. You see, people are going to take care of people. I mean, look, one thing we know in America is that the entrepreneur is going to be protected, the business person. Now, downtown, they got policemen walking the street. You get enough critical mass. All right on 7th Avenue, I've opened this center. I used to walk a beat there when it was mainly white people there. All right? So as we rebuild a community, where we have to make sure, because it's no accident, that you see that level of police coverage downtown, and you don't see it in Liberty City. Now, does that mean that it should be the reverse correlation? All right?
Right.
If it's so safe in downtown, then the policeman should be in the hood.
Right.
All right? But no, what the key is, if you got some economic vitality, somebody going to make sure some policemen there. Because America is not going to undercut, quote, unquote, the economy, all right? They're going to support the things that make sense for them from a business standpoint.
Right.
So we have to also create enough viability where you get two beat cops again and a horse back on 7th Avenue. They're not going to go and put two beat cops and a horse in the desert somewhere, all right?
So what you're saying that, so you're saying that it goes hand in hand. What has even if you do put nice buildings and you put businesses in the black community, you're saying that in order for people to come and shop there, they're going to have to feel safe.
Well, and therefore there is a police officer at the neighbor's supermarket. And we have not only man security, and maybe I shouldn't be saying it, but I know we have electronic security. We've put in a very elaborate electronic security system that can pick up your tag from any part of the parking lot, and there's a constant video record being made.
So they protect their tax base. In other words, those tax bases are protected.
Yes.
They're not going to let the people stop going because they need the tax dollars, and the people are going to protect their jobs. They will protect that tax base.
Yeah, the policeman knows he won't have a job if ain't no money coming into the coffers.
Right. Right. That little extra side job or off-duty job. But let me ask you something, Mr. Pitts. How come every city I go to in the black community, in your opinion, why I see so many boarded up little strip plazas and little freestanding buildings? It just seems like row after row and avenue after they all boarded up.
Because Mr. Henderson made the point earlier is that everybody else recognizes. We only think that we can sell dope and make money in our community. Everybody else got more sense than that, all right? They know we spend money on other things, too. But we want to make money on doing something illegal rather than going in the community and taking some of that money, even if you started that way. They tell me the Kennedy started that way, but it didn't stay that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Put the money in something legitimate and get out of throwing rocks at the chain gang, because we've made a huge industry out of that for everybody else.
You know, I was listening to King. I listened to Dr. King a great deal. And, you know, I was listening to some of his tapes, and he came, it was something that was interesting. He said that there's something that is greater than racism. There's something that's greater than racism, prejudice, injustice. He said, what's greater and more detrimental and harmful is silence.
Yes.
To do nothing.
Yes.
He says that's more, to do nothing and make a change is more harmful than the drug dealers, than prejudice, than hate, than crime itself. He said the look on us, the standbys, to do nothing. And you know, when we come back, I want to move into, why do you think the so-called leaders, and first I'm saying, why do you think a lot of the ministers, the churches, why you think they not getting involved and rallying around that, Mr. Pitts? Keep it locked, ladies and gentlemen. You're talking to Robert Henderson, Linda Harris, and Otis Pitts about economic development. It's all about money on 1080 AM. Callers, hold on. We'll be right back. We'll take a few calls, and we'll be right back after the station break.
Voices of South Florida on News Talk 1080 AM WTPS, the People's Station.
TV One presents Roots, the all-day marathon.
It is the story of the evolution of America.
See it again or see it for the very first time.
This is the story that could change your life, too.
It's an all-day marathon of Roots, hosted by the star-studded cast, Sunday, June 24th at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Watch Roots together. Then get ready for Roots The Next Generations, coming July 8th to TV One. Available on Comcast Cable and DirecTV Channel 241.
If you're in a collision and airbags deploy, OnStar receives a signal and can initiate a call to check on you.
This is OnStar Emergency Services. Are there any injuries in the vehicle? I'm pregnant. Are you injured? Yes. I have you located on U.S. Highway 36. I'm going to contact police services.
Police.
I have a vehicle on U.S. Highway 36 with airbag deployment. She is pregnant. I'll call you in to talk to her.
I hear a deer right in front of us. Can I?
All right, ma'am. Try to stay calm. You're the only one in the vehicle?
No, I've got a 3-year-old.
Stay still. I'm going to send help.
Okay.
Automatic notification of airbag deployment is just one of many OnStar services available on over 50 GM models.
The ambulance is on scene.
Great. Thank you very much.
The first year of OnStar service is included on new OnStar-equipped GM vehicles and covers unlimited use of all safety and security services. To experience OnStar, press your blue button or visit OnStar.com. OnStar by GM.
The Children's Trust 2007 Family Expo is coming Saturday, June 30th and Sunday, July 1st at the Miami-Dade County Fair and Expo grounds.
2 free days of valuable information on pre-K registration, injury prevention, summer and after-school programs, health services, programs for kids with special needs, and more.
Plus, we'll have clowns, storytellers, face painting, slides, music, food, and many more activities for the kids.
All the fun, all the information, all for free. Special presentations by Nickelodeon's Dora the Explorer and Jimmy Neutron. Clifford, Maya, Miguel, and Curious George will also be on hand.
Don't miss the Family Expo, presented by the Children's Trust, Saturday, June 30th and Sunday, July 1st, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Arnold Hall at the Miami-Dade County Fair and Expo grounds, Coral Way in Southwest 112th Avenue.
For more information, call 211 or visit thechildrenstrust.org.
Your voice, your station. On News Talk 1080 AM WTPS, the People's Station.
It's the Robert Henderson Jr. Show, featuring Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner and president of the Henderson Financial Group. Understanding money. It's all about the money.
Yep, it's all about the money. Understanding. And all you're getting, get understanding. Get understanding. Gotta get educated. Gotta have willpower. Gotta create value. But you gotta get some understanding. You gotta get some understanding. No time for no weekend. Sitting by the pool or just chilling or just going out and party. What you happy for? What you dancing for? What? Come on. What, you in trouble? Your credit card? Come on, you ain't got no house or you're behind on your bills. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? You ain't living right. Come on, finance is 75% of the people are getting divorced because of money. You was in love, but now the money gone. Now you ain't in love no more. You used to love them, it's all about money. You got to get understanding. All you're getting, understanding. And what's going on in the black community throughout the nation. As black as I am, and I love being black. I think being black, I don't know what I was last, but this time right now, I came to this earth and I'm black. They made me black. I ain't had no say for it. They made me black. They said, Robert, this go round, you're going to be black, okay? Now, I don't know what I'm going to be next go round. I don't know if I was white already. I don't know if I was Asian, but right now, I'm black. My soul took on this color. And I'm telling you something, this is tough. I also think this is the best. I think if you can get past black, boy, you in there. I think if you can get past black, you could easily be white. Ain't nothing being white. So I know, man, we got to be, we after being black, you're going to heaven. After being black, because you got to. This has got to be the test of all tests. Because a lot of things seem so simple, but yet so hard. And economically, I don't care. Man, I've been in France. I've been in Paris. I've been in Italy. I've been in Africa. I've been in all the Bahamian, the Caribbeans. How is it that just because of one color of skin, how can all of us still be scared in terms of economic development? How could it be 6 billion people on the planet, but the people that got dark skin, I just cannot believe the creator of the heavens and the earth is prejudiced. I cannot believe all of us have red blood. All of us, if you believe in the higher being, and if a higher being is just, therefore there cannot be any favoritism. There can't be one better than the other one. What is wrong with us? Why can't we understand this economic thing? What is wrong? From state to state to state. Because first of all, we couldn't read. They had us in bondage. Then some good white folks now. Because let me tell you something. It wasn't black folks that got us out of slavery. It wasn't Harriet Tubman by herself. It wasn't Martin Luther King by himself. Martin Luther King has a lot of good white folks, a lot of good Mormons. Let me tell you something. People who started the NAACP was not all black people. There were some good white people. So therefore, it cannot be because of the color of our skin. What is it? I think that we, as individuals, have bought in and got a warp perception of ourselves and what we can do. We put limitations on ourselves. We have this black attitude. Because there's attitudes. There's white attitudes and there's black attitudes. There's Asian attitude. There's attitudes. Black itself is you black. White, you're white. But you can have a white attitude, a black attitude. You can have a a poverty attitude and a prosperous attitude. You choose. We choose what attitude we're gonna have. I just figured that I'm a runaway slave. I ain't have a sense enough because I was just too stupid, or I didn't want to succumb to the rest of the neighborhood and have a black attitude. I wanted a prosperous attitude. I didn't care how blue black, and I'm dark skinned black. I ain't no red black. I'm black.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just. Do you know who you look or who you are? No, I'm a being, and I know there's one or two things I had to have, just like Harriet Tubman. One or two things. One of them was death, and one of them was liberty. I needed one of them. And if I was gonna be alive, man, I had to have liberty. I had to have prosperity. I couldn't have that limitation. So, Mr. Pitts.
Yes, sir.
I'm really glad that you're telling it like it is.
Yeah, he is, man. But expenditure leakage. Wow.
And you know what? Being able to look at yourself outside yourself, you're saying that people that don't look like us study us, know our spending habits, know how much we're going to make. They even know how many of us going to jail. They know how many of us went to college. They know how many of us want to look or act a certain way. They know exactly what we're going to do with our money. That's why I guess they don't really care if they give an NBA player or an NFL player tens of millions of dollars. They figure if he was dumb when he was broke, when he rich, he gonna be dumb. Dumb is dumb and broke is broke. You got a broke person with no money, and you got a rich person who's broke. Yeah. Mentally. It's the same thing. So I can imagine how people look at us when we come every year and go to South Beach and get into them hotels. We spend $800 billion a year on things and stuff. But why? If you and me and Linda, we ain't the only one know this. A lot of good people know this. Even the ministers that they taking this money every Sunday. Why do you think that they're not huddling up and saying, "Hey, man"? Why do you think they're not doing that?
Well, the thing is that people perish from a lack of knowledge. That's why the show you have is very, 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 very important. Because if there was a brother who used to be he's dead now, unfortunately. He used to be at Jumbles all the time, and he had a common saying. He said, if you knew better, you do better, all right? So we first got to educate people, and it begins with what you're attempting to do on this show. And America is about the money, all right? You can learn everything else in the world you want to learn, but this is about a capitalist society. And we're seeing some large waves happening in this society. Ross Perot tried to tell us about this NAFTA thing when he said you're going to hear a large sucking sound of your economy leaving this country, and your job is going to be in Asia, Mexico, India, everywhere else in the world. As we've seen in my lifetime, you were a telephone operator when I was growing up. You had a good job with benefits. Or if you worked in the factory in Detroit, the largest corporation now, as you know, is in Japan or whatever. So we're watching the jobs. We watch all the benefits come out from the big fight that the labor unions had to give us benefits, and all that stuff is leaving now. And they're chasing cheap money in Walmart, who we love to go spend our money on. But they're encouraging people to locate their plants offshore so they can get those cheaper wages and putting us out of work and relegating us to whatever else. But this is that whole economic education which we have to get if we're going to be able to function in this society, because this is a capitalist society. This is not a social society where your good comrade gets you promoted. In this country, if you ain't got no money, all right, you're in trouble, all right? And when we spend our money foolishly, now they love to have us as entertainers and athletes because they always want us entertaining them. But when you start to be Henderson and think about investing money and think about being a part of the capitalist system as such, and to spend your money wisely, is when you stop supporting other person's wealth and begin to support your own. That's part of what your education is and why this is important to be having these kinds of conversations. And if we're not spending money, even if it is at the moment, with some people who might not be giving you a lot of return, at least they're locating something in that business, in your community. But you should be doing, as my father did with a sixth grade education, while he was a police officer, he opened a dry cleaning operation. He opened a fish market in the community. All right? He opened a little bar in the community. So the entrepreneurs is what America is about, is being entrepreneurial, but you can't do it throwing rocks at the chain gang because your longevity ain't going to be that long. You need to be, if you're going to start off, like I said, with Kennedy them selling liquor and being a liquor runner, you end up buying you some real estate like they did down in downtown Chicago and produce a president and some senators with the money. You can't keep doing illicit stuff.
Yeah, like buying cars and clothes and bling bling. What's that? And then wind up going to jail because as soon as you're doing that old illegal stuff, as soon as the attorney see you, he going to ask you for $100,000.
Yeah, they educated their kids and they got them out of the ghettos that they were in the world. So at least we should be trying to look at some different values and how we take and invest our money. We have depressed real estate. This real estate, even in our community, is owned more by other people than us.
That's
amazing. So we're not even taking the money we are making and doing anything with it. We have a few examples of guys who've done that, some of whom we know, who at least got out of that life and created some employment and some wealth and some opportunities in the community. So we've got to educate our people, and this is a wonderful show. I'm going to say it again to you, Brother Henderson, and your partner, that, this is a wonderful thing to be doing, man, because once we understand, like you said, once we know better, then we can do better. See, and people like to see, like you said, you perish from a lack of knowledge, man. We've got to keep doing what you're doing right now, and because once people get armed with stuff, then they can't go home again. They'll know better when they see these choices, but somebody got to paint this out. It's not that obvious to them. You talked about the whole prison complex where these things are privately run now.
Yeah.
These guys in there now, you better walk in the little canteens and get a little sandwich out of the thing for 30 cents. You go and buy them sandwiches out, they cost $2, man.
Hey, because when you and I was talking yesterday, I was telling you about there's 3 companies, stocks, that all 3 of the companies that's on the stock exchange, all 3 companies build prisons.
Yes.
Then their business is prisons, and their shares have more than doubled in the last year. In other words, if you put in $5,000 and bought shares in those companies, your $5,000 in 1 year is worth about $12,000. All 3 of them, and
all of our young black men,
yeah,
who are mainly populating that industry, are making billionaires on the stock market. Understand me? Why they deprive our community of some male models who are doing something positive, or somebody taking care of these little kids we got out here who doesn't have a male in the home.
Yeah,
we're feeding our own demise.
Yeah, we got to take a station break, but I want you to keep it locked because don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking with Otis Pitts, prominent developer in the community. He's gonna tell us about some things. Also, I want to get into if I gave you $100 million, Mr. Pitts, could we make a dent? Could we do something? Could we make a change in the black community? We're going to talk about that when we come back. Those of you all listening for the first time, this is Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, along with my business partner and colleague, Linda Harris, WTPS 1080. We'll be right back.